So the California guidelines could overhaul the way many school districts approach math instruction. The draft rejected the idea of naturally gifted children, recommended against shifting certain students into accelerated courses in middle school, and tried to promote high-level math courses that could serve as alternatives to calculus, like data science or statistics. Okay, so first of all, if you reject the idea of naturally gifted children, it's because you're an idiot. Some kids are gifted, period, end of story. Some kids have higher IQs than others. And shock of shocks, it turns out that there is a heavy, heavy genetic component to that. That if both parents are neuroscientists, there's a good shot that their kid is going to have a higher IQ than somebody, both of whose parents are on welfare. Okay, that is just the...
Wait, what? What the fuck? That's literally not even true. Even the notion that like IQ inherently is just like a fucking idiotic metric for anything. Bro, that is just like straight eugenicist arguments, dude. The entire point of a fucking Common Core, like public education, national curriculum is to level the playing field. Okay? IQ is greatly impacted by your material conditions.
Yo.
There are studies that have been conducted in India, for example, where the same people's IQ levels or similar groups' IQ levels have been tested in months in like drought season where there was major famine.
How many chainsaws you think?
And when people were actually well fed. And the IQ the IQ fucking numbers have dramatically shifted in that process because it's not like a hereditary advantage that people have. It's more so about your surroundings, okay? Your material conditions. Are you well fed? Have you gone and gotten the best kind of education? Tying welfare to like hereditary predisposition is insanely racist.
Gay Jim Brothers.
It is probably like, this is like the nerd's equivalent. This is the nerd version of saying the N-word. Okay? That's it. It's literally just the nerdiest way of being, of saying the N-word and being like mega racist. I took a DNA test recently. Turns out I'm 60% welfare.
I like to get pumped up, boys.
There's a site that predicts your income based on zip code in the United States here. Yes. It is a way better predictive force. Your future income is your zip code that you were born into is, or that you grew up in, is a better predictor of your future income than anything else. I wonder why. Those are not mutually exclusive. If you're starving, you can't think right, but you're not going to be a genius if you just eat really well. I wonder if there's like a way to make sure that we maximize the geniuses, though. You know? If you want to think about it from like the most productive way possible, you're missing the point. The most productive way of looking at this from an even hyper-capitalist POV is to ensure that equality of opportunity is truly achieved by leveling the material conditions and the bottom side as best as you possibly physically, humanly can, so that a kid growing up in like India in fucking famine season has access to the same fucking resources and can be one day a fucking incredible engineer and a mega genius rather than die because they couldn't fucking feed themselves. Okay? That's the point. Can we talk about social mobility is just a scam to sell to desperate people? It's kind of meta right now, lol. Also, high IQ isn't the only component. Many people with lower IQs but better personalities excel more in their career. Of course.
I'm not saying that's inevitably true. There are many smart people who are on welfare, I'm
As a
sure.
stay-at-home
They're not all that
dad, my
stupid
wife has a good
neuroscientists,
enough
but there are, I'm
career
sure,
that he'd rather
smart
just
people on
be at
welfare.
home than hag whatever
But
shit job he'd get.
if you have to take the average person, and all you know about them is child of two neuroscientists versus child of two people on welfare in a free American society, and all you have to go on is that, whose kid do you think is going to have the higher IQ? Okay, so to pretend that that doesn't exist in real life is stupid. It's just dumb. It's like saying that two tall parents are not likely to have a height-gifted child.
Holy shit. He's just straight up saying that, like, IQ is a genetic trait passed on. It's two of the underlying premises that are completely fucked up and wrong here, the hidden premises that he's operating off of. One, IQ is like measuring your intelligence and therefore measuring your success, and it's an important metric when it's not. That's wrong. And two, it is a trait that you are passing down, okay, to your next of kin. This is just straight the fuck up a eugenicist line. This is why Sam Harris had the bell curve guy on. You know what I mean? Because, like, IQ is the neat little bow that ties racist people's beliefs together. Okay, because outside of that, like, racism is ultimately like a very spiritual thing. There is not really like any materialist understanding of racism. So you have to ground your racist worldview with like some kind of scientific explanation, which is how you arrive at race realism, which is how you arrive at scientific racism, eugenicism, and the like. So that's precisely why the bell curve is such an important piece of work for racists, because this is like their theory. You know what I mean? This is the way that their world finally makes sense. He's not even correct in the expression of parent traits in their children. Two tall motherfuckers can easily have a short child. If Shapiro was on TV back in the day, it would be canceled by fuck yous. What? Yeah. The pro-slavery scientists had the same idea a century ago. Exactly. And it was fucking destroyed because it's not real. It's not a real thing.
Poggers.
Lemafeo, both my parents are lacking in the gray matter department, but I'm still in grad school for data science and engineering. It's dumb as fuck. This is a really dumb argument. IQ is the most common thing misused by people with IQ too low to understand. Yeah. Just FYI, Pac-Man got banned for 30 days for watching the Rittenhouse trial, so those chatters telling you to cover it are fucking dumb as shit. Or they are the ones who want me to also get banned. And that's precisely why they're coming in here to be like, why aren't you covering the Rittenhouse trial? I'm going to goad you into doing so you can get banned too. That's probably what it is. The journal Science states your take is wrong. What? The journal Science states my take is what? What take is wrong? IQ is literally been linked multiple times to access to education and environment more strongly than genes. He's literally quoting outdated and disproven data. Yes, your IQ literally swings wildly when you don't have enough fucking food in your stomach, dude. It's so stupid. Anyway.
How could we possibly say that some people are more height gifted than others? To pretend that intelligence isn't inborn at all, and we are all sort of tabula rasa, is silly. It's just not true by any available metric. Okay, but this is what California wanted to teach. They recommended against shifting students into accelerated courses because they want to punish skill sets. They want to defeat the skillsocracy. The last thing you want to do is reward people who are gifted, who, by the way, should use their gifts on behalf of society in a free market society. Free markets allow people to distribute the uses of their gifts widely. This is the magic of free.
Literally untrue, okay? First of all, the free market is a unicorn. It does not exist, okay? It's as real as, like, you know, the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus. There's no such thing. But besides the point, let's say there is such a thing, okay? The closest we have arrived to the free market is what with the system that we have here in America, right? Shouts out to Ronald Reagan and neoliberalism internationally.
To the chatter getting pegged, take your time and don't
But
glunch.
a neoliberal economy, the pro-capitalist, pro-free market neoliberalism, has created a system that has such vast levels of income and wealth inequality that you are literally
2 months before I
making
upload
sure that just like the most efficient distribution of commerce, the most efficient distribution of life-saving necessary resources, whether it be medicine or fucking food or shelter, is allocated to those who can pay for it rather than those who need it, you're doing the exact same thing where you reduce productivity of your labor force because you ultimately are not creating equal opportunity for people under that free market system and basically creating a top-heavy structure where those who are recipients of intergenerational wealth or those who come from more affluent backgrounds have access to better resources, have access to then go into better schools overall, have higher IQs on IQ tests, even though it's like fucking nonsensical and silly and doesn't matter. And you're destroying opportunities of, like, I don't know, a child born in South Central to actually maximize their potential. You have no fucking clue how good that kid could do. You have no fucking clue how good some kid in the south side of Chicago would do. Okay? Because you have never even wanted to create a system in which that kid has a similar structure, a similar type of education, and a similar fucking like experience growing up in more formative years. So this notion that, like, this is actually an equal opportunity system is bullshit. That has never happened.
14 months. My longest relationship is with that HasanAbi.
Prove me those studies on Chet Hanks and I'm willing to be a Republican? What?